Well, here we are again, folks. It's Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. We are in verse 20 of Proverbs 31, talking about a virtuous woman. In verse 20, she stretcheth out her hand to the poor. She regardeth forth her hands to the needy. She reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She doesn't only think just of herself and her own household and her own place, but she thinks of those who have a need around her. Just a little bitty thing. I love pear preserves. I love fig preserves. I love plum jelly. But I have to go plum without sometime because my wife reaches out to those around us. She said, I made 11 jars, and we're going to put 2 or 3 back in here for you, love, and for us, and we're going to give these others away. So a few days go by, and I got my little jar, and it gets empty, and I go to get one, and find out, somebody else had come out of the woodwork that she didn't know about or see, and they got my jar of jelly. But anyway, I'm still happy, and she's still happy. And we're happy for those who got it. And hope they enjoyed it as much as I would have. And so she stretcheth out her hand to the poor. What a thing, stretching out your hand to the poor. And then she's confident. Let's see about her household. And they're confident in her. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She has taken and made sure that there is no chance of the family going out and not being presentable, one thing, and not being cold or hot is the other thing. In that day, in the era of the time this was written, was a different time than today. Women today still have to do the same things, but most women today, rather than to knit a cap for their husband or their children, they go and buy one. And where in this day, most women made the clothes for the family. Each woman made their own clothes for their own family. And that's just the way it was. And by the way, if we had more at home for the woman to do, she might stay at home more. She might not want to go ramming all the time or gambling or running off or doing something besides other than being a homemaker. You say being a homemaker? That's a job. Yes, it is. It is a job. And it takes a virtuous woman to be one. It takes a virtuous woman to be a homemaker. Verse 23. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. 2 reasons why her husband is known in the gates. One reason, he's a virtuous man. But the other reason is his wife is so virtuous that those men respect him for his household and for the way his house is. Those men sitting in the gates. And they say, here comes old Joe. He has a perfect wife. He has a homemaker wife. He has a good home. Verse 23 covers some things that are kindness, understanding. Her husband is known in the gates because of the kindness and the understanding of his wife and the kindness and understanding of himself. He has kindness and understanding from those in the gate that understand him. And let's see what he says here. Verse 25. Strength and honor are her clothes, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She is a strong and honorable woman. Because of the strength of her homemaking, she is honored by others. In this particular culture we live in, there are too many bought things. There are too many people who can afford a maid, and they have the maid do what the homemaker wife would be doing. And if the homemaker wife was doing that, it would triply please her husband, rather than having the maid do it. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. How many women today, in this day and age, do you hear open their mouth in kindness? Wow. I have seen in this day and age women just yap, 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 yap. You know what so-and-so did? 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 Wear you out with what somebody else did. I tell you, if you want to see the downfall of the average woman today, turn on Facebook. You can find the downfall of a woman today by what's being said by some of these women who should be virtuous women on Facebook. They seem to forget that everybody in the world is reading this mess that they're putting on there, and what they have to say about somebody else or something. Wow. If you take care of your own home, you won't have to worry about the other person's. You notice back in 20, she stretched forth her hand. She stretched forth her hand to those around her. I have this visual picture and it's bad, but she didn't stretch forth her tongue. She stretched forth her hand and helped those along the way. She didn't knock them down. She didn't use her tongue against them, but she stretched forth her hand and actually literally did something. Made somebody a cake and sent it to them. Made somebody something and sent it to them. Lately, my wife has been cleaning the house, sending this here and this there, and give this one that one, this one that one, this something, this one that one, and giving away the stuff. And that's good. And I'm all for it. Even though I'm a hoarder, she's not. But strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. I do hope and pray the day when the Lord calls us home, that He would allow us to go together, that He would allow us to go together, that we would not be left without one or the other here. Our love for each other is in depth, it's ingrained in each other. It would be a tough day to live without my virtuous woman. And I believe she would say that. I'm hoping she would. That it would be a tough day to live without her husband. The husband's known in the gates. He is known in the town. He is known everywhere because the character of his wife has carried out the character of their house and how they're known around the town because of the way they live. When Sunday morning comes around, they're in the car going to church. When Wednesday night comes around, they're in the car going to church. When Sunday night comes around, they're in the car going to church. 3 times a week, they're in the house of the Lord. They act upon what they say. And they say the way they act. And this is the way we need to be. We need to prove to ourselves and to our neighbors that we are who we say we are. Our time has come and gone, and I will see you next time. The next excerpt will be the 4th excerpt in Proverbs 31. See you next time. Bye-bye.